Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back today to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to be a better strategist or support in Marvel Rivals. So for all of my support mains out there, or people just trying to get better at playing this role, this is the video for you. Now, a couple of things before I get into it. I know some people will say like, oh, support is supposed to be the easy role. Anybody can play support. Pick rocket, just hold right click. But I feel like there's a difference between somebody flexing and playing support, someone who doesn't really know how to play support, and an actual support player. So I'm going to try to give you my insight on things that I think will just help out if you do have to play support, or if you choose to play support, and it'll help you just play better, perform better. Here are 3 things that I like to think of when I'm playing strategist. First is I'm responsible for keeping my team up, healing my team. So I want to heal first, DPS second. And throughout this video, I'll explain the times where I'm able to differentiate when I want to DPS, when I want to heal. And the second thing is I'm primarily healing my tanks because they're the ones that are usually eating the most damage. I also want to check on my other support because while we're keeping the team up, there are certain DPS or certain tanks that will try to take out my other support. So I do want to check on my other support, make sure they're good. The flanker DPS. So if we have any flanker or dive, I would try to make adjustments. But for certain DPS, it's kind of on them to position themselves well enough so I can actually get to a position where I can heal them. If it's like a Spider-Man and they keep diving the back line and they're not really able to swing back to the supports, I can't really do anything to heal you. If I have a tank, 2 other DPS on the enemy team also looking at me, like I can't really get to you. Same thing if it's a Psylocke and Psylocke flanks and they get low. Yes, I do want to heal you, but I also cannot put myself in a position where I'll die. And the third thing I like to do as a support player is pay attention to the enemy team comp. I want to know what I'm kind of getting into. I'll look at the comp like at the start of the match or throughout the match if they start changing DPS tanks or just changing their composition overall. I want to see if they have any dive or if they'll have any flankers. With this information, I kind of determine how close up or far away I play for my team. Not necessarily playing on the front line like with a tank, like standing there with the tanks, but just knowing that I'll be far enough forward to where they'll hear behind them if they're shooting and be able to turn around and help out. I don't want to be too far back so I can just be singled out by the Spider-Man or Black Panther or Iron Fist or Magic. Right here, I like to put my snowflake on someone. I'll either put my snowflake on one of the tanks if we have 2 tanks and they're just eating all the damage and just taking so much damage. I'll put one snowflake on the other tank and try to heal the other. I'll also try to put it on my dive or flanker DPS, so a Spider-Man or a Psylocke or Black Panther. Sometimes I'll also put the snowflake on the stronger DPS. So this game we have a Hela. I put the snowflake on Hela because I know Hela does crazy damage. So I want to be able to keep my Hela up. So I'm hearing the Hawkeye shots, so I do want to pay attention to my positioning. I want to use my surroundings to kind of keep me shielded from the arrows because Hawkeye does a lot of damage. So right here, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about team composition. They have a thing that just ran through the flank to our backline while my tanks were pushing up to the point. So that could have caused an issue because if the thing had came to us and started trying to do damage, it would have taken us out the fight from healing the tanks, and the tanks probably would have died on the point. So right here, I just get domed. So I'm watching my Hela. I see my Hela ult. I see their Luna ult. So this is something that is also very important. You want to keep track of the enemy teams and your team's support ults and the possible ults that you can counter. What do I mean by that? Psylocke. If Psylocke ults and you pop your support ult, you can counter that ult. You can keep your team up and you can stay up by popping your ult and basically nullify the other ult. Spider-Man ult, you can nullify that ult. So right here, I'm trying to DPS and heal. That's why I use my shift, just because we're basically up in numbers, but my team's not really taking too much damage, but I also want to keep them up. So kind of DPS and heal at the same time is my thought process right here. Now right here, I'm trying to figure out if I should ult or not because I feel like we pretty much have the point already and I don't really have to do anything for the cloak and dagger ult. But once I get blinded, I kind of just pump my ult to try to keep my team up. So I see my Thor and my DPS get kind of low, so I just rotate over to them, try to keep them up. But there's also a Thor in our backline, and like I said, trying to keep my dagger up. Alright, so we move forward a little bit, and this is the part where I start to talk about pay attention to enemy team composition, because now they switched over to Venom, which means our backline is going to get gold more often. Now this Luna, the reason why I focus this Luna is because Luna supports are very important. If you take out a support, you take out their healing. The _switch means we have to pay attention to squids, turrets. A good 𝘍𝘠 will flank, throw down the turrets, and then just right click you and delete you. So that's now something that I have to pay attention to. Okay, so right here, we lost a team fight. And I'm just trying to get to my Moon Knight and try to help him heal up. I'm not trying to run to a position where I feel like the enemy team is going to be basically in the Invisible Woman ult. Probably shouldn't have peeked this. The Spider-Man pushes me. I'm not gonna lie, I felt confident about taking out the Spider-Man, but... Now for the Iron Man ult, I do try to back up, run away, space out, because it's better if the Iron Man ults one of us than 3 of us. And this is what I'm talking about with the squids. If they throw the squid behind you, it basically takes you away from healing. So here, I see my mag is basically getting shot at by the entire team. I try to pop my ult and save him, but unfortunately, he just dies too fast. So now I'm just trying to heal up my team, keep my DPS up, and wait for my other tanks to come back. This is another positioning thing that I'm talking about. So I cannot move more forward and heal my 𝘍𝘠, who's moving into the flank. I want to heal my 𝘍𝘠, but I'm low, I'll get shot, and I'll get sent back to the spawn. And this is another thing I like to do with my snowballs. I like to throw it and just let it sit on the enemy because it gives us time to regroup instead of immediately freezing someone and me shooting them. So right here, this is another positioning thing. I'm trying to heal my mag, but because my mag is backing up, I feel like they feel like they're backing up into the hallway again. But because they're backing into the corner, I have to walk forward so I can see them. And in walking forward, I can get attacked by the enemy team DPS, or their tank can push me because now I'm in front of my front line. Now this tunnel is kind of crazy to fight in because you can get beamed through this tunnel, so I'm trying to pay attention to where I'm at. I see both my DPS on the flank, but there's nothing I can do because, like I said, they're on the flank. I can't just run over to them and heal them. So I see my Thor is low, I see my mag is low. I don't know what my Moon Knight was doing on the flank, but I kept looking back at my Moon Knight. So now my 𝘍𝘠 made it back to the fight. 𝘍𝘠's able to help. I'm able to throw my snowflake back on the 𝘍𝘠 and just heal my mag up because mag is frontline. Thor is also back, so now we basically have our entire team back. I saw my 𝘍𝘠 on the flank losing health, so I'm trying to heal what's around me to keep them alive. And I just pop my ult to try to match the Penny ult so my team doesn't really get pushed back by the Penny ult. Now we have 𝘍𝘠 ult, and I see 𝘍𝘠 trying to take out my cloak, so I try to go help out my cloak. I freeze the Penny, heal up my Moon Knight, and Moon Knight is able to finish the kill. Now right here, this is kind of huge. I got taken out by Wolverine, and then I heard my cloak ult. But something happened and cloak ended up, I think the Thor ult just took dagger out of the ult. So now we're down both supports and we're now gonna lose this fight. Yeah, so the whole team gets wiped and we're just not fast enough to make it back to the point. And we end up losing this round. But that's pretty much how I think and play as a strategist player or support player. If you guys enjoyed the video, all I ask is that you drop a like and a sub. And if there's anything else that you think while playing support, feel free to drop it down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.